Hey friends, welcome to the Time for Living podcast, your ultimate guide to finding the time you need to crush your business dreams while still having time to live your one beautiful life. I'm your host, Lucy Clark, a devoted boy mum, dedicated business owner, and time-finding expert. Say goodbye to the I'm too busy mindset that's holding you back from growing your online business. No more feeling overwhelmed or stuck in the same place year after year. Each week, we'll dive deep into strategies for being intentional with your precious time so you can hit those business goals while still making time for yourself and your family. If you're ready to create more time, get practical tips and prioritize the steps that will make the biggest impact on your business and life, then you're in the right spot. Pop in your earbuds, steal a quiet moment, and let's find time together. Hi there, and welcome back to Time for Living. Or if you're new here, welcome to the Time for Living family. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I have a question for you today. Do you remember the last time you did something just for you? Have a think about it. Maybe let me know over on Instagram. Most people that I've been talking to have said they just can't remember the last time they did something for themselves. You just keep telling yourself that once this project is done, once this season is over, once you get through this busy period, then you'll have the time for the things that actually matter to you. But that someday never comes, does it? I remember one time when I was sitting in my car waiting for my son to get out of school, and this thought just hit me out of nowhere. I feel like I'm living everyone else's agenda, but not my own. And it just stopped me in my tracks. Can you relate to that? Because I bet if you're listening right now, you're nodding your head thinking, yes, that's exactly how I feel. But here's the thing, you didn't become successful by accident. You're strategic, capable, and brilliant at what you do. But somewhere along the way, you started saying yes to everything and everyone else except yourself. Today, we're going to change that. We're going to talk about how to design your ideal week. And that's not some Pinterest perfect fantasy, but a real achievable week that honors both your ambitions and your need for breathing room. And I'm going to give you a framework that you can use immediately. No waiting until Monday, no waiting until next month. Today. So let's talk about why this keeps happening. Why do brilliant, capable women like you keep ending up feeling like they're drowning in their own success? It's not because you're not good at time management. Trust me, you wouldn't be where you are if you couldn't manage your time. The real issue is that you've been managing time instead of designing it. What do I mean by that? Well, managing time is reactive. It's looking at your calendar and trying to fit everything in like a game of Tetris. You're constantly adjusting, rearranging, squeezing things in. Sound familiar? But designing time, that's intentional. That's looking at your week and saying, what do I actually want this to look like? What would make me feel energized instead of depleted? Most of us, and I include myself in this because I've been there, we default to what I call the accommodation mindset. We accommodate everyone else's needs, everyone else's timelines, everyone else's priorities. And then we wonder why we feel resentful and overwhelmed. Here's what's really happening. You've never actually decided what your ideal week looks like. You've just been responding to what everyone else needs from you. Think about it. When was the last time you sat down and asked yourself, if I could design my perfect Tuesday, what would it look like? When would I do my best work? When would I exercise? When would I have space to think? I'm guessing, never, right? Because we've been taught that being busy equals being important, that being available equals being valuable. But here's what I've learned from working with a lot of women just like you. The women who feel most fulfilled and least overwhelmed aren't the ones doing the most things. They're the ones doing the right things at the right times in the ways that actually energize them. They've stopped trying to fit their lives into other people's schedules and started designing schedules that fit their lives. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I'm going to walk you through my 4-step ideal week design process. This isn't theory. This is the exact framework I use with my private clients, and it's what I use in my own life. Step 1, energy mapping. Before we can design your ideal week, we need to understand your natural energy patterns. And no, I don't mean just figuring out if you're a morning person or a night owl, though that is part of it. I want you to think about this past week. When did you feel most focused and creative? When did you feel most social and collaborative? When did you feel like you were running on empty? For most of the women I work with, there's usually a pattern. Maybe you're sharp and strategic in the mornings, but better at collaborative work in the afternoons. Maybe Mondays feel overwhelming, but Wednesdays feel more manageable. Your ideal week needs to honor these patterns, not fight against them. If you're trying to do your most important creative work at 4 p.m. when your brain is fried, you're making everything harder than it needs to be. Step 2. Anchor your priorities. Now, I want you to identify your non-negotiables. These are the things that when you do them consistently, make everything else feel more manageable. For some women, it's their morning workout. For others, it's uninterrupted focus time for their most important project. For some, it's family dinner without phones. Here's the key. These anchors go on your calendar first, not last after everything else is scheduled. First. I had a client who kept saying she wanted to work out consistently, but she tried to squeeze it in whenever she had time. Guess what? She never had time. So we anchored it, 7 a.m., Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Non-negotiable. Everything else got scheduled around those anchors. Within a month, she was the strongest she'd been in years and more productive at work because she was starting her day feeling powerful and energized. Step 3. Boundary setting. This is where most people get uncomfortable, but it's also where the biggest changes happen. You need to identify what you're going to stop doing, delegate, or do differently. I want you to look at your current week and ask yourself, what's draining my energy without adding real value? What am I doing just because I've always done it? What am I doing because I think I should, but it doesn't actually serve my goals? Maybe it's checking email first thing in the morning when you know it derails your focus. Maybe it's saying yes to every social invitation when what you really need is downtime. Maybe it's staying late at work because you think it makes you look dedicated, when really it just makes you less effective the next day. Here's what I've learned. You can't add good things to your week without removing some things that aren't serving you. Your time is finite. Acting like it isn't is what got you overwhelmed in the first place. Step 4. Setting an implementation rhythm. Finally, you need to create a rhythm that makes your ideal week actually sustainable. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Commend what I call the 80% rule. If you can stick to your ideal week design 80% of the time, you're winning. Life happens, unexpected things come up, and that's okay. The goal isn't to be rigid, it's to be intentional. Start with little changes. Maybe it's protecting your morning routine, blocking focus time, and having a consistent evening shutdown ritual. Master these 3 things before you try to overhaul everything. Remember, you're not trying to become a different person, you're trying to become the best version of who you already are, but with systems that actually support you instead of exhaust you. Okay, those are the 4 steps to design your ideal week. And before we wrap up, I want to give you something you can do today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Here's your quick win challenge. I want you to design just one ideal day. But I want you to think about this in 2 parts. First, imagine your ultimate ideal day, the one that would happen if you had complete control over your schedule, your responsibilities, everything. Maybe you'd start with a peaceful morning routine, have uninterrupted focus time for your most important work, take a proper lunch break, spend quality time with the people you love, and end with something that fills your cup. Don't worry about whether it's realistic right now, just dream it up. Now that you've got that picture, here's the key. Your current ideal day doesn't need to look exactly like that future vision. It just needs to move you one step closer to it. So pick a day from this upcoming week, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's later on this week, and I want you to intentionally design it with one element from that future ideal day. Maybe your ultimate ideal day starts with yoga and journaling, but right now you can commit to 5 minutes of deep breathing before you check your phone. Maybe your future self has 2 hours of uninterrupted creative work, but this week you can protect just 30 minutes. The magic isn't in creating perfection immediately. The magic is in starting small and building momentum. Start with those energy patterns we talked about. When do you do your best thinking? When do you need to be on for other people? When do you need space to recharge? Then try and make sure that you add that one anchor from your future ideal day, even if it is a smaller version. It's the one thing that if you did it that day would make you feel like you're moving forward towards the life you actually want. And schedule it first. You can also look at what you can remove or do differently. Maybe instead of checking email throughout the day, you check it at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Maybe instead of saying yes to that lunch meeting, you suggest a phone call while you walk. The goal isn't to create the perfect day. The goal is to create one day that feels intentional instead of reactive. And that includes at least one element that makes you think, yes, this is who I'm becoming. And here's what I want you to notice. How different does it feel to start your day knowing what you're going to focus on and why, instead of just reacting to whatever's loudest? Now, if you're thinking, that sounds great, but I still need to figure out where all my time is actually going right now, I've got something for you. I've created something called the Time Audit Workbook, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a step-by-step guide to understanding where your time is really going, what's working, and what needs to change. It takes about 20 minutes to complete, but the insights you'll get will save you hours every week. And when you download it, you'll also get my email series with more strategies for designing a life that actually energizes you instead of exhausts you. You can grab it at timeforliving/taking control. I'll link it in the show notes. Because here's what I know about you. You didn't get where you are by settling for good enough. You got here by being strategic and intentional. It's time to apply that same strategic thinking to how you spend your time. Your ideal week isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. You deserve to feel energized by your life, not depleted by it. You deserve to wake up excited about your day, not dreading it. The women who have the most impact, who build the most fulfilling careers, who create the most meaningful lives, they're not the ones doing the most things. They're the ones doing the right things in the ways that energizes them. And that can be you, starting this week, starting with one ideal day. So go design it. Your future self is going to thank you. Thanks for listening to Time for Living. I'll see you next week. And remember, you don't need more time. You just need better systems, and this is where we create them together. You've got this. Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning in to the Time for Living podcast today. If this episode inspired you to take action and save time, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a written review and subscribe over on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback means the world to me and helps us reach even more amazing people like you. If you know a friend who needs to hear this message, share this episode with them. And remember, your time is precious, so make every moment count. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep living, and keep making time for what matters most.